So, welcome to Growing and Social. It's Beatbox. It's Jenny J. It's Clint. It's Lynnette. We're here, and tonight we're going to be talking about relationship attachment styles. So, the purpose of tonight's show is to kind of give you guys some information, some equipment, so that when you go out here and you're doing battle with these relationships and you're trying to find the right person, you're equipped and you're armed so that you got the information to kind of know what you should be looking for to kind of build yourself a long and a lasting relationship. And you can start out with these attachment styles. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole theory and background of attachment styles. If anyone here wants to do that, feel free. I just want to, at the top of the show here, give a high level explanation of the four different attachment styles, and then we'll start digging deeper into each of them as we see fit. So up first, I'm going to talk about secure attachment style. So there's four different attachment styles. Okay, you got one secure attachment style, and then you got three insecure attachment styles. And the attachment style is ultimately, they say it's based on how you were raised as a child. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, because no matter what your classification of relationships attachment style, these things can change, and depending on the context and situation, it can change as well. So it may very well be that it's from your childhood. I'm not entirely sure. So if I'm not sure of it, I'm not going to present it to the people. So to start off with secure attachment style, this is the first one. And in this particular attachment style, I'll just read what it says here. Individuals with a secure attachment style are comfortable with emotional closeness and are able to communicate their needs and feelings effectively. They are also able to maintain a healthy balance between independence and intimacy in their relationships. So you hear that right there? This is pretty much saying that they're able to communicate openly. They don't have any hesitation. So this is why they call them secure. In a relationship, a securely attached partner is likely to be supportive, reliable, and emotionally available. For example, they are likely to be a good listener, communicate openly and honestly, and express their love and affection for their partner without hesitation. So that's your boy, Beat. I'm a secure attachment style. And we got Leaky Boy in the building finally. After
Hello.
all these years, we've been waiting on him. He finally shows up.
Hello.
So
Hello.
welcome to the stream, Leaky Boy. Welcome to the stream. You
How
came
y'all
just in
doing?
time. We're doing good, man. We talking about secure attachment styles. There's four of them. I got one of them up right now. There's a secure attachment style, and then there's three insecure attachment styles. With the secure attachment style, it's just basically saying, hey, these guys are most likely to be supportive, reliable, and emotionally available to their partner. So that's me, man. That's me right now in a relationship right now. I'm like the secure attachment. The secure attachment is kind of like the North Star in relationships. All the other insecure ones can attach to a secure attachment style, and they generally will be golden in most cases. So secure is where you kind of where you want to be at, but everybody's not there. And we'll talk about what you can do to try to find out which one of these styles you are. And if you're not, how you can kind of gravitate towards one of the secure attachment styles. All right. And we got Brown Perfection back in the building. She's over there, no makeup on. We appreciate you. Right? No makeup, right? I woke up like that. All right. So all right. So we just talked about secure attachment styles. And now we're going to go into the more insecure attachment styles. So out of the three insecure attachment styles, first up is anxious attachment style. Now, individuals with an anxious attachment style are often preoccupied with their relationships and fear abandonment. They may crave intimacy and validation from their partner, but may also be insecure and worry that their partner will leave them. So, already you guys can see you got to think back, to some of your past relationships and see if is this someone that you were in a relationship with? But more about how the anxious attachment style reacts in a relationship. It says that, their partner may be emotionally intense and demanding, or, the anxious attachment style, they're generally going to be intense and demanding. seeking reassurance and validation from their partner. They may also become jealous or possessive if they feel their partner is not giving them enough attention or affection. So with the anxious attachment style, this one is almost kind of opposite of secure, where if you're anxious, you might be like, hey, if I tell you I'm going to the store, you might think, hey, I'm going to the store to meet somebody. You know what I mean? So with the anxious attachment style, that's how that one goes. I'm gonna move right along here because we got so much to talk about. Avoidant attachment style is going to be the third one. This is the second of the non-secure attachment styles. Individuals with an avoidant attachment style may struggle with emotional intimacy and may prioritize their independence over closeness with their partner. They may be uncomfortable with emotional expression and may struggle to communicate their needs and feelings effectively. In a relationship, an avoidantly attached partner may seem distant or aloof, struggle to express their emotions, and may be hesitant to commit fully to the relationship. So, with this relationship right here, this is the person that they're more independent. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to avoid, as much as they can, to the extent that they can, they're gonna try to avoid any type of emotional expression in the relationship. So you got to be careful of this one and know kind of like what you can do to kind of put them at ease. So we talked about secure. They're going to be expressing their feelings. We talked about what do we talk about here? We talked about anxious, right? They might be a little bit jealous. Then we just looked at avoidant attachment style. They might try to avoid emotional expression. And then last but not least, we got the third of the non-secure attachment styles, which is fearful avoidant. Individuals with a fearful avoidant attachment style may experience conflicting desires for intimacy and independence and may fear both abandonment and rejection. They may struggle to trust their partner and may have difficulty opening up emotionally. In a relationship, a fearfully attached partner may have a tendency to push their partner away, as well as fear being left behind. So with this one right here, this is kind of like a combination of the last two non-secure attachment types. So this one right here is saying, hey, this person might just completely try to push you away. They don't want to get close to you because it's not because they don't, care for you. It's just because they're concerned that they may get hurt themselves out of the relationship. So now that we've talked about the four different attachment styles, let me just flip this back over here. So those are the four different attachment styles. Get leaky up in here. What I want to just mention is that, what you can do is if you want to find out which one of these attachment styles you are, you can just Google attachment style and relationship quiz and take the quiz and just see what your normal balance is. And what I mean by normal balance, it means like when you wake up in the morning, which one of these is going to be like kind of like your normal state of mind, because you can change, and hopefully we'll get into how you can change it, but you don't necessarily have to identify with this attachment style for the rest of your life. The importance is to know your attachment style. The importance is to know your partner's attachment style, because if you're secure, and they're avoidant, then you might, that might help you understand why, they're not as emotionally attached to you or able to communicate, emotionally with you. And that could go for a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, and same thing, if you're anxious, you tend to get jealous or, thinking that they're going to, do something in the relationship. If this person is, if they're the type that's avoidant, it's not because they don't care for you. It's just because that's just how their style is. You know what I mean? They don't like to, be that intellectually or emotionally close to you. So they're going to try to avoid that. Now they can work on that. But the thing is both of you are going to need to understand what your attachment style is so that you can decide that that's something that you want to work on for the, the longevity of your relationship. So now that I said all of that, we now know about these four different attachment styles. I just want to open it up and see if there's anything I left out. Anyone think there's some good bits of information out there that I maybe should have talked about?
I just want to mention, and Lynette can express some more about this. that it is there is a theory that it comes from your childhood,
Just
how you
wanted to
were
mention,
raised
Lynnette can
as
express some remark
a
about this.
adult.
That it is there is a theory that it comes from your childhood, how you were raised as a.
Somebody, oh, yeah, you go. Somebody's running something in the background. All right,
Okay.
appreciate that.
So, one of the things I want to say is that we have to think of this as something that is constantly changing. You could have a childhood that you consider that you didn't get enough attention, but you still don't have a fearful, avoidant attachment. I think that people actually change as they grow as a person. Um, I guess my concern is where would and the males can answer on this on the panel. As a man, would you be comfortable with your girl coming up to you, not in the initial stage, because in the initial stage you guys are hunting, so you'll probably agree to anything. But in the midst of a relationship, would you be okay with your girl coming and saying, "Hey, we need to do this test"? And I want you to talk from a male perspective. How would a typical man feel about having this kind of test and having it used in in the relationship? Would you feel fearful? Would you be upset? What would you do?
I mean,
I take the test. There's nothing to be afraid of.
right.
I mean, again, security is security. You know, um, I never been one to be big on tests, but still, there's nothing to be afraid of either. You know, with them kind of tests, it could be a right or wrong answer. Then again, it could be a hit or miss.
Do you think it could create some kind of conflict
It
in?
could if somebody's not secure. Yes, most definitely. They'll start deflecting in a minute. You know, oh no, why do I need to take that test for? It ain't nothing wrong with me, and da da da. Ain't nothing wrong with us. We're okay, and da da da. That's how
Right.
it would be. You know,
Leaky, you were gonna say something?
Well, I think that you know, nine times. I mean, taking a test, I don't think that'd be an issue. But people normally know who they are really from the beginning anyway. They just deny it.
You,
Somebody else told them how they are before you said something to them. So if let's just say if the person's a liar, they heard that before, or they're just or they heard these stories before. They just in denial about it.
yeah, but
Most of the time.
but the thing is though is even if you heard it before, if you don't understand kind of like which one of these, because even if you're secure or even if you're insecure, you could be a liar. You could still be a liar. You see what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. You could still be a liar and be secure, which is kind of like the alpha of these attachment styles, in my opinion. Because everyone wants to feel secure in their relationship. So you can undoubtedly lie. But as far as
But I want to 1 second though. But how can you be secure and lie?
how can you be secure and lie? Come on, man. What do you mean? I could be
No,
secure. I could
I'm
be secure
saying.
with you all day, and I could just
I mean,
blast out
yeah.
lies because
No,
I'm
no.
doing dirt
Listen,
on the
but
side. I don't need you to find out about my dirt. You know what I'm saying? You know
I
what I
can.
mean? If me and Netra doing something, maybe I shouldn't use Netra. If me and Jilly Jane is doing something on the side, and I'm in a relationship, and now I'm putting on my bad guy hat. Remember, I told you guys I'm gonna give you the good. I'm gonna give you the good beatbox. I'm gonna give you the bad beatbox. Right now, I'm going into dirt beatbox. Why am I gonna tell you when I got Jilly Jane on the side and I'm living with you? Maybe I got my own place. Who knows? Or both. You know what I mean? But why am I gonna interrupt everything that I got going on with you right now? And miss out with Jilly Jane just because I want to, I wanna keep that relationship. I want to keep you too. So anytime you ask me anything about Jilly Jane, I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? But I'm secure in our relationship. I'm still secure in my relationship. I'm making you feel secure in our relationship. Every time I go somewhere, I'm gonna tell you, I'm going, you know what I'm saying, over to Clint's house. And matter of fact, I'm gonna call Clint and I'm gonna tell Clint, have your boy text my girl and ask if I'm, you know what I'm saying, if you gonna be there with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna make her feel secure. You know, I'm gonna straight up just go turn into devil incarnate right now. I'm gonna tell you how dirty it can get. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna cover all my bases. I'm gonna make you feel like I'm the most secure person on the planet. I'm gonna lie through my teeth to keep the other thing that I got going on the side going, because I don't want to mess up what I got going with you. I want my cake and eat it too. Yeah, I could most definitely lie, and I could be in a secure attachment style altogether. Why? I mean, why is that not possible? You a man? You
You
never
know,
done that before?
No, but that's not being. But
yeah,
that's not. No, no. You see, listen. Being secure and securing a woman is two different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, okay, I'm secure. Let's say if I think you're using it wrong, because if you let's say you secure in who you are, like let's say I'm secure in I'm a man, but yeah, I'm going to secure as a relationship of not her not knowing. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I think you mixing two up.
yeah. I would love to jump in on this if I can, um,
Yeah.
and bring a little bit of a clinical lens to this. So what you just described, Beatbox, is more of an avoidant, dismissive attachment style in a relationship. This is a person who downplays the importance of things that would come with a secure attachment. Secure attachment styles are really based in the root of communication, honesty, and transparency. If those do not exist, you are not in a secure attachment style. You can be a secure person. And let me give you an example of that. A woman can be secure in her job, right? She can know she's successful. She can know that she is beautiful. She can know that she is well liked. She can know that she is a catch. She still can have a secure, anxious, I mean, she could still have an anxious attachment style in relationships because there's a generalized fear of abandonment that happened at some point of time. I wanted to kind of respond to that, this idea that it's developed in childhood. Childhood does kind of determine, like, when Bowlby started looking at this theory, childhood does determine where our attachment styles come from, but nurture feeds that. So these could be things that happen throughout your lifetime, your relationships in school, a really traumatic relationship that didn't go well, a relationship that wasn't bad. So, for example, and this is not like I have an amazing mother. I want to give that as a caveat, but my mother will admittedly say that she is not a hugger. My mother is not giving a whole bunch of hugs and I love yous. She didn't neglect me. That wasn't trauma, but it was an unmet need. And I notice now that I have a need for those hugs and I have a need for that extra I love you. I love you is a really valuable word for me. So I think that people don't understand that these attachment styles in the relationships really live independently of who we think we are as a person. And that's why they struggle when you come into a relationship. Because what you mean, I'm anxious. I'm not anxious. I've just been hurt before. We've all heard that. How many people have heard a woman say, I've just been hurt a lot of times before and I've been through a lot and I've been cheated on and lied to. I've had these things happen. Why can't you just support me and show me different? That's an anxious attachment style. You are putting the responsibility of your mental stability into the hands of another person. And we have our psychology person on here, so I'm like super excited for Yusuf to jump in. But what you describe, Beatbox, would actually be the exact opposite of a secure attachment style.
So
Secure,
so but if I make you, the whole
What?
point of a secure attachment style is for me to make you feel, I'm gonna express,
no,
my
that's
feelings to you.
no, that's narcissism. That is not secure attachment styles. Secure attachment styles are rooted in
Ah,
transparency, they are rooted in honesty, and they are rooted in communication. If it is absent of those things, it is not secure. And here's the thing, you're not that secure if you have to do all those other things. A person a person who is truly secure doesn't need the attention of 30 other people. A person is secure and who has chosen a partner has chosen that partner because they believe that they can build something valuable with them. You are not building something valuable with one person if you are spreading yourself to six. So automatically, if you're a cheater, you are not in a secure attachment style. You can just take that one off the table. You might be somewhere between another show like narcissism, bad character, and avoidant dismissive. But if Yusuf is still here, I would love to hear from him. I know I saw him pop in, but I just wanted to clear that up because I think some people can use these attachment styles to manipulate other people too, and tell somebody, "Oh, I'm a secure attachment style," when you're literally shifting and creating a false reality for them, and that's not what it is. And really, you're exasperating, because we can do that too. You're exasperating their attachment style because they fully know that you're lying. They're anxious for a reason. They don't have an anxious attachment style. They have intuition, and they know that things are
Come
going
on,
on.
somebody.
And you are gaslighting them into believing that they're the problem. And so that's not secure attachment. That's something else. But Leaky Boy.
Thank you. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, we just got to use them the right way, because they can be used to manipulate our partners, or they can be used to heal our partners. And ideally, we should be using these tools to move into healing relationships. And also, fun fact, we are all of them. Every one of us at some point in our lives have been in a relationship that made us feel anxious. And every one of us at some point in our lives have been in a relationship that has made us feel secure. And every one of us have been at a point in our life where we I really don't care one way or the other. And many of us have been in a relationship where we were fearful if we did the wrong thing, we would get hurt. So we built up a wall. So there is like a place in the middle that we all can live. But we tend, like you said, when you wake up in the morning, to lean a certain way. And the way that you lean 85% of the time is based off the way you've cultivated your relationships from birth to current. Does that make?
Yes, it does.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So you saying it's somebody like what I described earlier could be either a narcissist or a sociopath.
Or just a bad person. I think sometimes we want to assign people, we want to jump into the DSM-5 book and assign people characters. And I tell people, even a serial killer has a great day. But, at the end of the day, we are all inherently good and we are all inherently bad. It just we choose. It's a conscious daily choice to which version of our darkness or light we want to live in. So there are some people who just are not decent. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly who they are. They are perfectly healthy-minded individuals with the capability of communicating well. And they actively choose to just not be decent. And there's nothing wrong with them in terms of a medical illness, because narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health diagnosis. Everybody doesn't have that, but we use it really freely. And some people just are assholes. Like, I think that maybe they should just throw asshole in the diagnosis book so we can label it. Some people just are assholes and they don't care about other people. And it is because maybe they have an avoidant, fearful attachment. Like, you know what? If I show this person I'm vulnerable, they're going to walk all over me. Maybe that has never happened to me before, but I'm not about to find out. So I'm going to walk around as a grouch, a grump, or a player, because you know what? And this could be men or women, but because I would rather hurt you before you hurt me. You're not going to get me in no got you moment. And so the behavior that you described is a person who lacks integrity. And a person who lacks integrity can fall into a myriad of diagnoses. But
that was the point I was trying to explain to Leaky Boy. It's kind of like I could be secure and be a whole bunch of, I could be a liar, I could be a sociopath, a narcissist. So these attachment styles, you could be all of those, but in the context of a relationship,
if you're secure,
Netra,
you don't act like that. Secure people don't hurt other people. The root of security is to guard yourself and guard others.
But that's an opinion. That's your opinion.
That's a psychological fact. That's a psychological fact. In books and research, a person who is secure.
I disagree.
You can disagree with the researchers. They disagree with each other all the time. But psychologically, from a PhD perspective, a secure person The core, the conceptual framework, I'm sorry to go there, of a secure person is communication, transparency, and honesty. If you are absent of those things, you cannot be secure. I mean, my
So I
opinion is
can't
I'm
be
like,
secure if I'm not honest. I just
no,
don't. That
because a secure
No, because
person
that
cannot
means
have
you
a
probably have an ulterior motive.
you have an ulterior motive. If you're
yeah, but I'm
secure,
secure in my. I'm secure in that motive,
no,
which is
you
getting my objective,
right, but that's
right?
not security. As a person who is secure has no need to cause harm to another person. So if you have any need to cause harm to another person or operate and create an illusion for somebody else, because let me tell you, let me give you an example of how a bad man can be secure. I met a guy before. He let me know right up front. Look, I know I look good. I know I got a lot of women. I have no interest in being faithful. I'm letting you know up front how I am. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you call me and I'm with another girl, I'm gonna let you know. And he did. He'd be like, hey, I'm on a date. Can I call you back? He was very honest. That was a secure person. Maybe he wasn't a great person, but he was very secure. And the fact that he was so secure that he didn't feel the need to lie to me about anything. He was so secure that I was going to allow whatever dynamic he wanted to go with, that he could be completely honest about it, even if it wasn't traditional, and that I was going to either roll with it or wasn't. And he even told me, I'm so secure in what I have to offer. The women who don't roll with it, I'm okay because I know five who will. That is security. A person who doesn't need to manipulate the truth because they feel like I'm going to tell the truth and still get what I want. And I'm going to be honest, and this person is going to do it or they're not. And if they don't, I can find somebody else who does. If you're lying to somebody, it's something deep in you that doesn't want them to see the real version of you. And anybody who lacks the ability for people to see the real version of them, that's an insecurity.
Right.
No matter how you wrap it, no matter how you package it, people have a secure face. So maybe there's an attachment in the middle of secure masked attachment. Like some people can mask themselves as secure and be some of the most insecure people. And that comes to that avoidant fearful. The person you described was avoidant fearful, where they come off as very secure. Because again, you're fearful if you tell me the truth, I'm gonna make a different decision that doesn't benefit you.
Gotcha.
So you're like, okay, let me lie. So that's why I was like, that's not a secure attachment. Secure attachment doesn't include manipulation. It's impossible. It not in
So,
deep spirit.
so Nietzsche, what do you think about attachment styles? Have you ever had a relationship and then look back and said, hey, you know what? If I'm, anxious, what I'm saying, and this person is fearful, avoidant, had I known that, I would have done something differently. You think that information can help people out in a relationship, like help them kind of deter, from button heads and doing things that they wouldn't otherwise do?
I think having the information could be great, absolutely. But I think if everyone just took accountability for themselves, even going about getting the information wouldn't be necessary. If everyone was just accountable for themselves, for their triggers, for their issues, it would be much easier to navigate in a relationship either way. Like what she said, as far as transparency, it's very important. But oftentimes people are looking to put on this perfect picture or to make it seem as if they don't have any problems or to not be completely honest up front. But I think overall, though, like what y'all said, you can flow in between, a myriad of them, right? So I have experienced a secure attachment relationship before. And then after I was in a relationship where I became more anxious. So that was when I realized, like, okay, so it does have a lot to do with childhood, but at the same time, it also has a lot to do with the interpersonal relationship that you have with that person as well
Yes.
and what they have going on, right? So it's very unfortunate though there are some people who have never experienced a relationship where it is secure for both parties, because then you go about thinking that it doesn't exist. So then you stick into this same loop of type of relationship because you don't think that there is a secure person out there that does have certain things to them that naturally is who they are, that can complement who you are as well. It's a lot, but I do think you do flow in between all of them. I will say it does start from your childhood. I know a lot of people tend to think that, that 0 to 7 is like crucial. when we're growing up. That's crucial. Everything that happened from 0 to 7 is so crucial, and a lot of people don't realize that it stays with you until you address it. It's your responsibility. So I feel like if everyone just took responsibility for their own shit, if I can curse, then there wouldn't really be any problems. But we tend to project on each other. You know what I'm saying? We tend to project on each other a lot. And a lot of it boils down to like what we were talking about. I think we did mention this last week about communication. Hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. Is that what's going on? Or is this what's happening? Or I feel this way with this. I feel this way with that. But oftentimes people feel that relationships is supposed to be like this romance thing where you're supposed to just gloss over the uncomfortable bits. And then that's how sometimes it can get a little bit messy because we're not talking to each other. And so just to bring it back around, yeah, I think it could help. For me personally, because of the fact that I take responsibility for me and I read and I research and I find ways to better myself, it makes it easier for me to identify and see what's going on in my immediate environment, if that makes sense. But not everyone is doing that. So yes, for everyone that's not doing it, yes, do the test, please.
So, do you think that a person can be a different attachment style based on who they are having a relationship with?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not simple at all. We're very complex. You know what I'm saying? It's not just this simplified thing where, okay, you're this one attachment style for the rest of your life. Like we come with so many experiences, and a lot of people never truly know what is truly triggering them, right? So I think, yeah, different partners can bring different things out of you because of who they are, right? Because what's normal and natural to them. And then you see, because so here's the thing, like we 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 truly learn through each other, right? Because if we're standing in a room by ourselves and we're not moving at all, we're not experiencing anything, right? So you start bouncing off the walls and you figure out, okay, it feels this way if I hit this part of the wall. It feels this way if I hit this part of the wall. We're learning through each other. We're learning about ourselves through each other, right? So of course you're going to find that there's going to be someone that you meet that may do something you're like, oh, I didn't really know that that was really a problem for me until now. That's how we figure out what our likes and dislikes are. You're not really know what you like or what you dislike until you truly start experiencing, you truly start dating. So yeah, I do think people can trigger certain things that you didn't really know was a problem for you, or to show you certain things that you realize, hey, I like this experience, so I don't want to do that experience again.
So, I'm assuming that everybody in here has been in a second relationship, or you've all had an extended relationship that has ended, and now you're in a different relationship. Can you, any of you, tell me, like, what do you think was your attachment style then, as to what it is now? Not even if you're not in a relationship, we would say now that you've figured out how you function in a relationship, what has changed, do you think?
For me,
Right.
both of them were secure. It's just that one got the level of security got through the roof. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
um, I think it was a lack of genuine communication.
Right.
There was communication, but there was that gut feeling that I have that I get from my mother that you're holding back. You know, you're telling me everything's okay, but I can see it. I can feel it. Your energy is putting out. You know, and after a while you get tired of trying to pull something out. You know, um, because then it gets pestering, and I don't want to be a pest. So after a while you just kind of fall back from that. Um, and then they start reaching out, but when you're reaching out, it's still right here. it's not coming up, you know?
Do you think that there was an avoidant attachment somewhere there?
In a sense, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely think so, yeah.
Anybody else want to?
I can jump in. I'm really super transparent. You know, when I started really learning about attachment styles, I was like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing wrong the whole time. I really dated from an anxious attachment style, right? And it was rooted in childhood abandonment. It wasn't really about a man. Like my dad was the first man to ever stand me up for a date. And I lived in that fear of somebody not showing up for me every relationship I went into. Like, I'm going to be waiting for you, and you're not going to show up for me, and you're not going to really tell me why. And I'm going to be searching for that why. And so, you know, the last three men that I loved, I realized did not like me. They fundamentally, my marriage, the relationships after, they fundamentally did not like me as a person. And because anxious attachment style makes you want that fear of abandonment and that need to be accepted, I was confusing attachment with love. So it feels like love. It feels like intense love. The need to be accepted and seen and validated by some person feels like intense love. And so what I had to learn to do differently, that I do differently now as I move into my dating world, is I start to ask myself a few questions every time I get triggered. Are you triggered about this situation that's happening right now, or are you triggered about what this situation represents? An example of that, you know, is like, are you really believing that this person, I think I talked about it very transparently in our live. I think it might have been after you guys hopped off, but you know, my fear of abandonment again didn't come from a relationship. My brother died by suicide when I was 16 years old,
Hmm.
and the last conversation we had was an argument. That creates a deep need for me to resolve a situation immediately because I am afraid if you walk away from me, you literally might die. I cannot afford to have that happen to me again. To the man, it might feel like I'm not letting things go or I'm not letting things calm down. So for me, to Nietzsche's thing about owning your own shit, I tell a person that up front and say, look, I went through this trauma. It created this need in me. Are you able to just assure me in a moment when we're fighting that we're okay, but you need a minute? Because that's all I need. But if you just ignore me for 3 days, I am going to spiral, and that is not going to go positively for us. If a person says, no, I can't agree to that, that's probably not somebody I want to date. So I've done better to ask questions with people to see if they can even manage some of the triggers that are going to be lifelong triggers for me. I'm going to always struggle with that. Also, like again, challenging myself and holding myself accountable. Like, you know, your triggers are your responsibility. So do you need to take a moment? Call your therapist because you got health insurance. Do that. Call your friend. Have somebody talk you off a ledge. Have a great support system. So you're not making your partner be your therapist, your lover, your friend, your confidant, your ledge talker. Like they can't hold all those roles. Your partner has to be that. And so that's where I'm at. You know, how I kind of moved from this anxious attachment to more secure attachment of saying each individual, if you are making me anxious, the first question I'm gonna ask, are you making me anxious because I don't have no business being with you and I know that? Or are you making me anxious because I have some unmet need that I'm putting on you that actually isn't legitimate? It's not fair to you. Because I'm gonna tell you, the last situation I was in, I had an anxious attachment, but I ain't had no business there. And I knew it. I told them that in the first month. I want to fall in love with you, but everything in me is telling me that's a really bad idea. So I knew up front me and that person were not compatible. But because I wanted to be loved so bad, I thought if I could make this person who I knew I wasn't a good fit for like me, then that defined me as a person who was worthy of love. And so when you go through divorce, anything like that, your attachment styles can shift because now you're trying to prove yourself. So I just work really hard now to just, Nietzsche said it best. I hold myself accountable, even with my girlfriends. Job, like, are you angry at them? Or are you mad? Are you lacking something? Do you need something in this moment that's upsetting you and triggering you, and you want them to resolve it for you, because that really is not your partner's responsibility.
Right. I can say that I was married for a long time, 20 years, and I think I was secure in the relationship, but after the divorce occurred, I found myself being fearful, avoidant. Meaning, I definitely didn't want to get into anything with anybody because I felt like the best way to safeguard myself was to just not take anybody seriously. So, dating for me would be, yeah, nice to see you. Let's, talk. But after about 3 days, it wasn't here or there for me. I mean, you could call if you wanted to, you didn't have to call. So I think for me, I think after this very long relationship, and I don't want to go into it because as Lynette says, you don't want to ever, say something negative because we were both in it together and I contributed just as much to what after it happened. I felt like there was no point in attaching myself to somebody that the result would be the same. And so I think that your mindset is a protective mindset after a long-term relationship. I'm going to protect me. I'm going to take care of me. You know, I think as women, we go, I don't need no man, right? So one out,
I have never said that, Jenny. I need men and men need us. I am
right,
not a single. I'm saying this on this public platform.
right,
I am not a single independent Black woman that don't need no man. I need you, but I
right,
need you healthy.
right. Yeah, you need a healthy, um, secure, well-attached black man.
Yes.
Because I think what has happened is or experiences that people come along and they pretend to be secure, or they are just there to, basically be awful people. And they do things, and then all of a sudden you assume that every single person you come into contact with, or you're on high alert, you're very vigilant about what can happen in the relationship. And so that vigilance turns into, I will not attach myself to anyone. So I think the most important thing, and I don't know who wants to talk about it, but I think we need to talk about um, what can somebody who's secure meeting another attachment style do for them in order to get them into that space. Not that anybody's responsible for anybody else, but if you are choosing to be with this person, what can you do to help them to get into that space where they realize that this they don't have to live like that.
Right. I have a suggestion, like two. One, make sure you are prepared or even interested in going on that journey with them.
Hmm.
Because if you're not, you will get frustrated very fast. And two, encourage that person to seek like life coaching. It doesn't have to be therapy. A life coach, a spiritual coach, whatever it is they need, an outside source to help them sort through that. You said something very powerful about fearful, avoidant, because actually I think I am more fearful. I'm not secure yet. I'm in that more fearful, avoidant space. Um, but I think a person who's really secure and wants to help you can start with pure intentions, because pure intentions have a healing, are a superpower. And if you have pure intentions, a person feels that energy is currency. And I think Netra said that last week. Like energy is currency, and I believe that if you energetically want to help somebody and they see that they're struggling and they see your patience, every time that's a brick. Like, oh wow, this person got mad at me, but they didn't break up with me. I can say how I feel. Oh wow, I was nervous about this person always texting on their phone, and they sat down and had a conversation with me about it instead of just calling me insecure. So I think it takes a lot of intentionality to like identify their triggers and call them out on it. Like, hey babe, I saw that your body language changed when I was texting my brother. What was that about? And having them say, well, I thought you were texting a girl. Okay, did I do something in the relationship to make you feel I would be dishonest? Or, when I left out to go to the grocery store, I noticed you called me 10 times for like items that were weird because we talked about it. Is there something that made you feel that I wasn't going just to the grocery store? Like, call it. I think the more you call a thing, a person will be honest with you and be like, dang, why did I do that?
So I want to impress upon people that the responsibility for your attachment style is yours.
It's
So
yours.
if you are an anxious attachment person, you have to monitor your own inner dialogue, which you're constantly having. Meaning, he turns his back to you in the bed. You're assuming that he's no longer interested. He is late for dinner, and you're assuming that he's with somebody. So you have to monitor what is happening in you internally. And that's probably hard because you are definitely a catastrophic thinker, you
And
know?
that is why therapy is so important because
Right,
you can't do it alone, but it's not
right,
your partner's job.
right, right. So, Clint, what do you think from a man's perspective if you have somebody who is definitely insecure, who has all these problems? Would you take them on?
Running. I'm running. Nah, because when you realize it, you already know. No, let's not even get involved with that. But
Right.
no, it sometimes you know when you first realize it or experience it, and it's not a great experience, you definitely don't want to be bothered with that on the
Mm-hmm.
next round. And when you see it, you kind of fall back or run, or like I said, run from it. Um, but sometimes people are grabbers, they're reachers, and they're trying to hold on, and you're trying to be nice and not hurt feelings and be thoughtful and be tactful, but in the end, it's not a great thing. You
Right.
know, in the
And
end,
that's why I said, people, you are responsible for you. You're responsible for your mental health. And
yeah,
if you are experiencing so much internal dialogue that you're unable to look at the person in front of you and actually see what they're doing and have some confidence in that, then you might need to end the relationship
yeah,
yourself. I think secure people tend to believe that other people are as secure as them. So
Yeah.
sometimes what they do is they tend to live this type of existence where, like, oh, I'm just doing this, I'm just doing that. So for them, it's no biggie. But for a person who is insecure, it means that something has gone wrong,
yeah.
really wrong,
Right.
right? And that could change mood, that could change behaviors,
That
that could,
changes everything.
Yeah,
yes.
it changes. And I think it's important to add, I tell people up front, I'm not a big church person at all. But Bible stories are like awesome to me because they put things in like plain common sense where you're like, wait a minute.
Right.
And so I tell people like a lot of times we get into these relationships we have no business in and we create attachments in ourselves. And so my example of this is I don't know if anybody's familiar with like how the Israelites had to travel to the
Yes.
promised land, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it took them 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to take them 11 days,
Yes.
but it took them 40 years because they were disobedient to what was instructed to them. Our inner self tells us when we don't belong in a situation. And when we don't listen to our inner self, it turns into anxiety. Because your inner self is telling you you don't belong here. You don't belong here. You don't belong here. This person isn't meeting your needs. This person and you are not alike. You are not compatible. And you're like, yes, we are. Watch. I can make it work. And then when you don't, you get insecure because you are not compatible. So you've chosen this 40-year journey to enlightenment when really you could have took 11 days. It take a couple of days to realize, you know what? I like flowers. You told me you don't buy women flowers. Why are we on date number 4? So if we would really be honest with ourselves that 90% of the time, these negative attachments are created because we placed ourselves in situations we had no business in the first place. And then we try to make them work. We relabel and we relabel insanity as love. It's insanity. And
Right.
we say, I'm in
We do.
love.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
we
in
do.
love, and he's just scared because his mom didn't hug him when he was 7, and so, and then this girl broke his heart, and so I'm just trying. No, girl, y'all ain't compatible. There's 7 billion people in the world. Go meet somebody you like, and then you won't have to be anxious. It really isn't that hard. And so I tell people, look at your relationships with your friends if you have healthy friendships. I have a best friend. I'm gonna shout her out on here. Her name is Lisa. Y'all met her the other night. I've never had an anxious day with her. If she doesn't call me back or she takes too long to respond to a text, I don't even think nothing about it because we are so compatible in our relationship and meet each other's needs and fill each other's cups so well that my mind doesn't go there. So 9 times out of 10, if you're anxious, you're already having an unmet need that you're afraid to be honest with yourself about.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we definitely need to measure and evaluate the relationship as it progresses. I think though that as we were talking the other night, when it comes to hormonal, who we are when we get together and the hormones that are secreted, a lot of times we're fighting with my hormone says she or he is great, but my mind says no. And you know you're supposed to run, but those that dopamine rush from seeing him or her or being around him or her, or even when the relationship goes south and then it comes back north, you're like, yeah, that's good. That roller coaster ride is so sweet. But in the end, we know what goes up must come down. And so you're going to have a real hard landing. So if anything I want to deliver to people tonight is listen to Lynnette. Listen to Lynnette. Quit while you're feeling good. Quit while you have some sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
Instead of hanging around the whole time and saying, I'm going to fix her, I'm going to fix him. He or she is responsible to fix him or her. So right now we want to do a call to action. And Lynnette, I'm going to put you on the spot as to what do you think we should work on at this point in terms of attachment styles? Your voice, you're mute.
What I encourage people to do is get online, take that test. Find out what your attachment style is. Now, this is specifically for the people who are struggling in their relationship right now. They're at a crossroad. They don't know whether to stay. They don't know whether to go. I want you to get a piece of paper. I want you to get a pen. And on one side, I want you to write, my relationship I love looks like. My relationship I love looks like, not the relationship you're in, the relationship you want. I want you to write down the top 10 things that relationship looks like. We're not talking about looks. We're talking about kindness. We're talking about having fun or traveling. Very tangible things that would make you feel you are in a healthy, safe, secure relationship.
Be
My
specific
relationship-
when you do it.
Be specific.
Yes.
My relationship I love looks like. I repeat that again because I need them to hold on to this. The relationship I love looks like 10 things. Then I want you to go to the other side with your partner you're at the crossroads at. And I want you to transfer everything that you put on that list of 10 over to the side where your partner is, if they are doing that, if that is happening. If you look at that list and none of those things transfer it over, that is not your partner. I don't know how to say that any other way. He ain't it. She ain't it. Release them with love and go find your person. If that person is all of those things, then I want you to look at yourself. And then I want you to get online and Google a therapist or call the one you got and say, My partner is everything I've prayed for, and I'm still not happy. Help me get to where I need to be. So, again, the relationship I love looks like I need 10 things, not seven, not eight, 10. You should be able to have 10 things that look good to you. And then your partner, how many of those things they meet. And it's not about being perfect. That's why I said these are not things like my partner is rich. It could say something like financial security. If you look at the other side and that person is not meeting those needs, and I know some people are gonna argue with me and say, well, also I'm supposed to just leave somebody because they're not financially where they want to be. If that's what would make you happy and they're not there, you got to determine if you can work with them. And if you can't, don't resent them by staying there and making them feel guilty about not meeting the needs you created. So look at that list. If they meet everything on that list, then the problem is most likely you. If they don't meet anything on that list, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. Y'all are just not compatible, and that is okay. The last call to action is to encourage yourself to understand that just because you are not compatible with one person does not mean that you are not deserving of the love you desire. We are all deserving of a connection that makes us feel happy, whole, and healed. So if that person or you are not giving it, either way, if it's not happening, it is okay to walk away and say, I appreciate and I value what I got here. However, I'm going to move along because I don't think we can give each other what we need, and we both deserve happiness. We only get to do this life one time, and we all do pretty much want to do it with a partner. So let's at least choose that partner. So those are my call to actions. The most important one, find out your attachment style, do the list, the relationship I love looks like, find out if your partner matches, and then 3, challenge yourself to be honest. That's it.
People, I'm praying for you because this means you're going to have to make a decision once you get those results. And I know that decision is going to be really hard, especially if this person has been really good to you and you have a sense of like you feel like you owe them something, but you actually owe them honesty and you owe them the right to be with who they're meant to be with. So try to do that.
The greatest gift, and this is my quote. I want to be quoted. No, the greatest gift that we can give to the world is a healed version of ourselves.
Amen.
So that's the greatest gift we can give to each other. So in all of this, really the message is the greatest gift you can give to everybody around you is a healed version of you.
Well, guys, I appreciate you all being here. The audience, we appreciate you coming, and we hope that you'll come next week to be with us again. We normally talk about what we talk about next week, but I guess we will reconvene to do that. Beat, are you there? So I think we're going to end the session. So y'all have a good night.
All right.
And take care of those you love.
All right.
Yes.
Holla at y'all soon.
Bye.
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 Thanks for tuning in for